A warm welcome back to the Forensic Detailing channel. Do not forget to subscribe. Today we are reviewing Optimum Hyperfoam No Rinse. Let's just describe what the product is first. So it's a rinse-free foaming car wash, combines polymer and surfactant technology, used rinseless or as a foaming pre-wash. So that's a very interesting thing. Hyperfoam is the ultimate versatile rinseless wash. It's the ultimate car washing solution combining the original polymer tape based technology of ONR, Optimum No Rinse. Optimum No Rinse Wash and Shine with polymer based surfactants, allowing it to be used in a foam cannon, foam spraying, or as a traditional car wash, or as a rinseless wash. So this product is attempting to broaden the usage capability of this rinseless wash, which is a great thing, because when I started using this back in the day, I thought, could you chuck some of it in with car shampoo so you get the best of both worlds, which I realise now is kind of a daft thing, but back then I kind of thought, why not? It was a good thing. And you could do that, but there's probably reasons why you shouldn't. You should just trust the products to do what the brands formulate them to do, I think. So Optimum No Rinse Hyperfoam combines our revolutionary polymer no rinse car wash with the power of foam with the addition of foaming surfactants. That's very important. It makes a versatile car wash solution that can be used as a traditional rinseless wash, a car soap replacement, or a foaming pre-wash in a foam cannon or foam sprayer. It won't remove waxes, sealants or coatings. It leaves a squeaky clean finish with no protection or residue. Yes, if you apply it properly and buff it properly, wipe it dry properly, making the surfaces ready for application of products like Optimum Seal, OptiSeal, or other sealants, or waxes or stuff like that, or probably even ceramic coatings, I'd imagine. There's some debate about whether this stuff leaves a film of polymer behind or it's a pure product, but if you're applying to do a coating, you'd probably be polishing anyway, but you could always panel wipe your car after going over with Optimum No Rinse, I guess, if you're worried about any residual polymers left on the surface, but a good towel up and I think you get it. And it says leaves nothing behind, residue free on there as well, which is an important statement. I like to see that on the bottle. Safe for all exterior and interior applications. Interesting. Combines polymer no rinse with foam, uses a rinseless wash or car wash soap, uses a pre-spray. There's a bit of repetition there. So we understand what it is. Let's just talk about usage requirements. Now, first of all, there's one thing that it doesn't answer in this thing here, is when you're using it in a snow foam lance, do you spray it over the car and then go straight to contact wash with it on the car? So like foam it on, as the Americans say, and then contact wash it. Do you spray it on as a pre-wash in a snow foam cannon or lance, let it soak in, let it penetrate a bit, then jet wash it off and then contact wash it? Do you foam it on with a pumper and then contact it, or do you just go in with your bucket or whatever? The answer is you can do all of those things from what I can see. And Optimum, I went looking for the answer for that question, and Optimum had a short video that just went through those 4 methods. So that's really important, because if you're going to get all the pressure washer out and fill up a snow foam cannon and spray it onto the car, I think you might as well rinse that product off just to take all of the bits off of the car that, you don't want to be grinding all over the paintwork, definitely. So I can't see why you'd get all that equipment out and foam over it and contact wash it. But the idea is you've got an option there so they can cater for both worlds and people that disagree. That's great. Now, that's it, essentially. Now let's just talk about what happens. So you mix this out in a bucket of 1 to 256, or 40 mil for me to 10 litres, or 1 ounce to 2 gallons. But 40 mil to 10 litres is how I remember it. So it's the same kind of ratio as ONR. 4 ounces to 32 ounces in a snow foam lance, which is roughly about 120 mil to a litre, I suspect. Yeah. Foam sprayer, 2 ounces in 32 ounces, so not a cannon or a lance, yeah, a pumper. Clay lube, 2 ounces to 1 gallon. Waterless wash, 8 ounces to 1 gallon, yeah, a lot more higher concentration really. And glass and interior, 6 ounces to 1 gallon. So you use quite a lot more product there with those higher things. I think it's just best to use this as kind of a wash. Now I want to talk about the user experience. First of all, when you put this product into a snow foam lance and you measure it out at the rate they say, the foam is quite thin in the UK. Now we've had this before. Sometimes I'll test a product and it's too thick and too foamy, in which case I'm using the wrong lance. It's too thick and it's too foamy, that lance. Sometimes it comes out too thin and suddenly that lance is no good and it's broken. You've got to check your filters. The lance is working fine. We've got a good throughput of system as well that gives me thick foam. I think again the problem is that over in the UK we have harder water, so the experience of the foam that comes out of my Canon was thinner, not a rich foam, and yeah, that's just how it is, and I'll show you that. Would I want it to be really thick foam? I think I personally don't care, because with this you're more looking at that polymer technology, but I think a review needs to point that out. So yeah, just the foam wasn't that good. Another thing with the foam is, even in the bucket or the pump sprayer, the foam isn't highly stable. It disappears. So you can whip it up, get some nice foam in your bucket. You could even increase the ratio, but I don't like increasing the ratios of a rinseless to get better foam when you're going beyond what they recommend, because it's formulated to work at that ratio, you know. So you can whip it up in the bucket, get some good foam initially, but that foam starts to disperse quite rapidly and disappear, you know, as you're working over the panel. Again, not a particular problem, and it happens as well when you put it in a pump foamer and put it onto the wheels and try and, where you might want a little bit more foam. In the pump foamer, it's a lot less noticeable, and you get a thicker foam, you get a little bit more working time before it starts disappearing. You could argue that when it disappears, it's quite nice, especially in a rinseless scenario on the car, because there's less foam to kind of look at, you know, or be aware of, so perhaps less visible residues. Now, another limitation of this particular product is it cannot, on its own, remove, like ONR, it can't dissolve bonded rubbish on the car. I'm trying not to swear. So over the years, whenever I've used ONR, you wipe over something, it's the organic stuff, bits of resin and bird poo that you can feel afterwards when you're drying, or see a little bump. It doesn't get all of that off. The technology or the chemistry of this product, again, it goes into the dirt, it tries to encapsulate it, tries to provide lubrication, but it doesn't have a powerful cleaning function on organic matter. And indeed, Optimum have products that have that chemistry, and they have a touchless pre-wash as well, which I think has a slight capability to dissolve stuff like that and soften it. So historically, people have always said ONR is a slightly better or slightly more suited to cleaning lighter vehicles. And the moment you bust out pressure washers and stuff like that, you can incorporate it, but then stronger chemicals for wheels, stronger chemicals for heavier road films, and then by all means use the Optimum no rinse or the Hyperfoam as the contact replacement for the shampoo if you want. But you've got the flexibility there with it, but it can't be everything. If this could be everything, then there would be no need for Optimum to have any other chemicals. So that's understanding it. So the cleaning power seems to rely more on you know, the fact it's a lubricant, a bit like a pH neutral shampoo. So encapsulation, lubrication, rather than traditional chemistry through more standard alkaline or acidic functions, is an intelligent way of saying it. So what isn't it? It can't do everything. It's not an aggressive wheel cleaner for sure. It can clean well-maintained alloys, especially protected alloys, and you get a reasonable user experience, but it won't shift off bonded brake dust that's had a chance to sort of embed. You know, you'd need a fallout remover, and I'm sure these guys have got one, or you'd need stronger chemistry. So we've talked about it can't remove organic grime. Foaming levels in the Lance in the UK are low. It's just not quite foaming like I think I've seen it foam in the Optimum videos. In sprayer, they're good. Foam has a slight stability issue, and I remember talking about ONR and Ivan LaCroix saying that if you put this stuff, just however it works chemically, just disperses foam, you know. Maybe it's the same thing going on here. Now, this product, what's it like to use? It feels a bit like O&R with some surfactant in it. The surfactant isn't rich and slimy like a car shampoo. You don't get that experience. You get a foam. The foam feels more like a dispersant type surfactant, like a foaming agent, than like some of the stuff like glycols and other forms of richer surfactants that you find in car soap. So it doesn't feel like a car soap. It feels like a rinseless with some foaming agent in it, and that's fine. You can feel, if you've used Optimum loads of times, when you go to towel out Optimum, there's a little bit of polymer drag. You can feel it if you've used it. You can just feel what I'm talking about. You get that same polymer drag with this. Good thing, if you get greedy with this and you try to wash a whole car out in the sunshine and any of those residues start to dry, this re-wets down really well. So some of the residue on the glass was just starting to dry and I could see a white film. So you could just take your bucket with your sponge, go back over it and just re-wet as you need to. You could even put a bit of rinse water on there, but then you, in certain circumstances, you can't. So if you're doing a full rinseless scenario and the residues do dry because you've tried to do too much, then you can re-wet and then towel dry. When you towel dry, this product benefits a bit like Fat New. It benefits from having a spray drying aid like the Optimum Car Wax, or I use the Built Hamber QD here. But it benefits from a 2-towel approach, that you have one towel that you go around and mop up this solution. So I'm using a coral fleece towel actually, because you could do it with a twisted loop. Whatever, the first towel is going to get wet, you know, over time, and that actually is beneficial if any of it is dried, because it helps re-wet it. So you just go around and you get all of the solution, as much as you can, up. And what that can do is, as the towel gets wetter, you're going to have film of product and water over parts of the car that you can kind of just about see in certain lights. It's that you've got to get off in a final buff, so you get your final finish with these products. And it took me a while to realise that with O&R. So sometimes lots of rinselesses get you to avoid that, working panel by panel, because then if you wash the panel, dry the panel, you can never have that problem. But you can get around that problem by re-wetting, and this product re-wets well. That's important. Let's talk about price. This product costs £23.99 per litre in the UK. Optimum No Rinse costs around £22 per litre. So it's going to cost you £2 extra to have this product over their own. The market average for 11 market leading rinseless washes was £26 per litre. Optimum No Rinse comes third in my overall rinseless wash. Optimum as a rinseless brand have pedigree. They were like the first to pioneer this when nobody believed. I need to get that music going. Nobody believed. And they would have encountered all sorts of resistance and cynicism to their product because it doesn't foam, it doesn't look glamorous, it's a flat chemical. But this product was only ever supposed to replace contact washing, really, you know, and all the things that you could do with a pH neutral shampoo where you clean your car. And you know, they evolved it a little bit and told you can do this and that with it. The more it tries to do, the more chemically compromised it might be, because you can't have one chemical doing anything. It can do a fair bit, to be honest, but it's not an aggressive chemistry in rinseless is the way to kind of understand it. So I feel the price point of Optimum No Rinse in the UK is good at £22, and I feel the price point of this is acceptable at £24. Remember, it's a concentrate. It's not cheap compared to where you can get contact wash shampoo for. We know you can get 5 litres of that for £8, but it's well priced against other rinselesses, and it's a decent concentration where you use not a lot of product. And if you're using this sensibly, this one bottle could wash your cars at home for a long time. And I think Optimum have the pedigree to actually be more than the market average in price. So if they're a little bit under, I see that as kind of a positive. It's not a massive positive, because the cheapest rinseless wash that I've seen is £12.95 for a litre, and that's the Koch Chemie Rapid Wash, which is getting close to half the price, isn't it? Close. So that's the thing to consider. But then there's other rinseless washes that are a lot more expensive. So you get the idea on that. So we've talked about some negatives around this. This is the thing, that most of the negatives around rinseless wash aren't the fault of rinseless wash. It's trying to provide you a capability. And every time you criticise rinseless wash, you have to remember that ultimately, if you don't like rinseless wash and you don't want to use it, don't use it. It's that simple. But you have to understand there's a market for it. And these brands have created a product, attacked that sector and really believed in their product and created interest and created a market for this. And lots of people like rinseless washing. People are aware of the limitations, and sometimes they incorporate it into wash techniques where you are pre-washing and using the jet wash, because it solves that problem, and you can use whatever chemistry you like for what's appropriate. The principle of this product is fantastic, because in my head it takes everything that O&R can do and just gives you a better user experience and broadens the capability. This isn't a powerful pre-wash product from what I can see. From what I can see in its chemistry, I don't think it's a powerful pre-wash. And if it was, they wouldn't need to have their pre-wash product. That's the logic I've got. But it's still very useful this time of year to be able to chuck that in a snow foam lance and put it over the car. I didn't give it massive long dwell because it was more dust, and just jet wash that out and get a slight cleaning effect from the surfactant and a slight pre-soak effect from the rinseless polymer technology. So I like it there. But the constructive criticism is the foaming levels for a UK water supply and a pretty premium system, it just weren't enough to get it to foam up how some people might want it to. Yes, chemical is good on removal even if you let it dry. That's what I like. That was the main claim to fame with this. I wasn't worried about this being... I was never going to think this is suddenly going to become my overall pre-wash. It's suddenly going to become my wheel cleaner. I was more worried that the surfactant in here might cause me residue issues when I use this as a rinseless wash. It has to pass that test, and it does for me. And a lot of that's down to technique. If you're getting residue issues with this, you can fix them with your technique. Re-wet, mop up most of it, dry with a drying aid. You'll be absolutely fine. That's the main problem. Or that's the main thing that isn't a problem. So this, in my head, begs the question, well, why bother with O&R now? Because this just has a slightly better user experience, and a better user experience when I put it in a pump foamer, and that pre-wash capability that this flat chemical, you know, it might have the same chemistry, but the surfactant has to benefit it somehow, doesn't it? That's what I think. So if I don't have a problem with the residues of this might actually be a better product than the O&R. And I'm convinced the encapsulation and polymer technology feels very similar, and it probably is the same technology. So yeah, I see it as all of the benefits of O&R and some extra benefits with not very many downsides apart from it costing £2 more per litre. That's where I am with this product. I've really enjoyed using it. I think I love the concept of being able to fill up a bucket and go out and just use this, and maybe fill up a pump sprayer and just go and really quickly and aggressively contact wash that Gulf outside. And even if that Gulf was nicer and I was a bit more paranoid about it, I'd still probably trust this enough to go and do that. If I was worried, I could get the hose out and do a little rinse, or get the full pressure wash system out and all that. I trust this enough that if my car's in the garage, the Porsche, I could do a nice light dust down on it and use the thing to spray out and do the wheels. So I trust it. So I've enjoyed using it. How could it be better? How could it be better? It could remove all of that organic matter. That would be a lovely bonus, but then the chemistry might be compromised. You've got to start using different chemistries. You can't want it to be everything, I don't think. It would be nice if the pre-wash was better, but again, it goes back to chemistry. It's kind of usable as a pre-wash. but it's not, in my opinion, it's not going to strip off thick winter road film, and I don't think, and it's certainly not going to break down organic matter. Overall, yeah, I like this product. It's going to go on my shelf and it will all get used up. And I like the O&R as well. And what I've realised is I lost sort of a little bit of interest with Optimum, because I really explored Optimum like crazy early on on the days of the channel, did the brand review, and I just thought really interesting brand. They're still an interesting brand, and what I didn't realise is they brought out more products, and they have good chemistry pedigree, and I want to explore some of those other products as well, like their touchless pre-wash. So yeah, I'll probably explore them. Interested in your thoughts. I'm not sure how well received this product is, but I can't see any reason fundamentally why it's bad or any worse than Optimum No Rinse. So if you're an Optimum No Rinse fan, I don't understand how you can't be a fan of that product. It feels the same on the panel, works the same, just does a bit of surfactant. So there we go, guys. Let me know. Oh, let me know. I wanted to sanity check it against corrosion. So I prepped back some mild steel, which is something I like to do because a lot of American soaps light up these steel panels. That was swabbed neat over there about 5 days ago, maybe not quite that long. And it hasn't generated any corrosion at all. A little bit might have trickled down here, but I don't know. But that is a definite pass for me, because when they trigger corrosion, I usually spot it within 24 hours. You know, they light up some of them. That doesn't. So it's also a chemical which doesn't promote corrosion, which I think is a positive as well. I will always check that. Ironically, it's more the consumer brands in America, the pH neutral soaps that are mega thick and soapy and, you know, smell nice, that can actually light these up like a Christmas tree. So it's something I always check. Right, any other positives and negatives? No, you should like this, and I've covered everything I can think of that's bad, everything that I can think of that's good. Again, it's not a miracle product, it's a solution, and it's a good broad solution. And yeah, I've enjoyed looking at it.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I?